I didn't want to come before you, brothers and sisters, and start to talk to you about many of the hadith or the ayats that tell us the virtues of Shaam, as the title of my talk has been given, the virtues of Shaam. And that's because in reality, we've been dealing with the problem in Shaam for the last 7 years. I don't think there is a Muslim in the world who is worth his weight in salt, except that after this long, extended period of time, we should have all been exposed to those ahadith that maybe we didn't know prior to this catastrophe, which is the single biggest humanitarian crisis during our time. The single biggest refugee crisis during our time. So for the last 7 years, like the image of the little boy, the little baby that was in the water, our children know that image. I don't think there's any Muslim in the world who hasn't heard those hadith. إِذَا فَسَدَ أَهْلُ الشَّامِ فَلَا خَيْرَ فِيكُمْ. If the people in that area go bad, if they become negligent, they stop practicing the religion the correct way, then there is no good in this ummah. So the Prophet used that place and those people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the measurement for the ummah, showing that area is an important area. So I didn't want to come here and just rattle off hadith after hadith, the virtues. No, I want to do something a little bit different today, although my time is very short. As a parent and as a Muslim, we have to buy into this understanding that we owe people, and also people by default are going to owe us. We owe a great debt of gratitude to our parents. That's an Islamic concept. We owe gratitude to them. The sacrifices that your mother's made, your father's made, and that's why that relationship is so unique and precious. And anyone who is sleeping on the importance of rectifying issues between him and his parents, I have to say, not what are you doing here, but this is important. Your relationship with your parents are even more wajib upon you than this issue. Anyway, back to the square. We owe people, people owe us. As a parent, I'll tell my children, look, this is my opinion about this particular thing. I may not be right, you may not like it, but you owe me respect. And you owe me that you should appreciate that I have a right to have an opinion. That's my Allah-given right. And I have to feel the same way with my parents who are not Muslims. May Allah guide them to Islam. People in Syria, we owe them. So this is what I want to deal with in the next 5 minutes that I have. We owe them. Many times, these talks that we give to encourage people, these ayats to encourage people, I want to look at this issue from this angle. Let's put this on the table, that we're indebted to the people of Shaam religiously. And that's because from the virtues of Shaam is the fact that the companions went there. May Allah be pleased with them. Great scholar of Al-Islam who came from Shaam. His name was Walid ibn Muslim. I hope you write that down, go and check him out. He was a student of some of those great scholars of Shaam like Al-Imam al-Awza'i and others. He said that there were 10,000 eyes that saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who entered into Shaam, lived in Shaam, and they died in Shaam. That means he was of the opinion there were at least 5,000 of the companions, may Allah be pleased with them. Some of them started their journey in Mecca, Hijrah to Al-Medina, and then they went to Shaam. Others, Mecca, Medina, Al-Iraq, and then to Shaam. They didn't sit back and kick back and just relax on their laurels. We were with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and we did this and we did that. I'm just going to relax. And in Medina, they didn't do that. They took the deen, they took the dawah, the message of al-Islam, the risala of Tawheed, and they took it to Shaam. So their descendants are in Shaam. How do we know here today the importance of Shaam? Why are we here? We're here because those companions told us about those hadith. Had it not been for Allah, had it not been for the Prophet ﷺ, his efforts, and had it not been for the efforts of those companions, we wouldn't be here celebrating. We wouldn't be here reminding each other. We wouldn't be here doing what we're doing. So they were the ones who told us about all of those hadith. There are some places in the world, like Rohingya, the Muslims are being slaughtered still today, and other places throughout Africa. And although it bothers us, and although it upsets us, and we're connected to it, we're connected to that problem because of their iman, al-wala wa bara. But because they're from Rohingya, we don't know anything in our religion that gives Rohingya any special position. So we don't look at it like that. Whereas Shaam is different. Those companions gathered those hadith for us, that the malaika are spreading their wings there at Shaam, that Isa is going to come back down, and one of the major signs, al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, all of those issues, those companions. Now I just want to mention two of those companions, and then I'm going to exit from this place. Why do we owe them? From those companions who lived and died in Shaam, I just mentioned two, and there are many. Bilal ibn Rabah, and along with him, Ammar ibn Yasir. May Allah be pleased with them. Again, any Muslim, man, woman, Arab, non-Arab, who was worth his weight in salt as a Muslim on the scales, if he doesn't know about Bilal and Ammar and their sacrifices, then what can we say about that Muslim? Those two people. So the person learns about their story, both of them being from Mecca. In the case of Ammar, his mother Sumayya, his father Yasir, being persecuted and executed for their religion. And they stayed the course, went through all of that. So just as the Muslims right now are being tortured, the Muslims right now are being made to suffer, and we don't like that. But when the companions had to go through that, they're a higher level of people. It's more sensitive. It's a bigger issue. So when we come to this place and we want to participate and we're going to get the meal and we're going to talk and do this, and all of that is beautiful, fine, and dandy. But I think when we come to places like this, because we have to take it back to the original square of who we are, the people who love the hadith and we love the sunnah, and as a result of that, a proof of that is that we're here taking care of what we can take care as it relates to helping these people. That's a sign, I think, that people love the sunnah, the people of al-hadith, and so forth and so on. From that angle, we give tonight and tomorrow and next week and other that, inshallah, hoping for another one of the virtues of Shaam. Prophet said about that place, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ardu Shaam, ardu mahshar wal manshar. The area of Shaam is the place where people are going to be taken forth and raised from their graves. And it's going to be the place, Yawm al-Qiyamah, where the people are going to spread out to be questioned, judged, to deal with what we did and what we should have done and so forth and so on. There's a hadith that says it is Arafat. That hadith is fabricated. Allah didn't choose Mecca, He didn't choose Medina, He didn't choose Muzdalifah. Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to take place in Shaam. So when we're raised up, and we have no doubt about that, that's going to happen, we'll be able to, inshallah, amongst all of this madness and this drama that all of us are dealing with in our own personal lives and doing this era and this place where we're living, drama. Everybody here has madness going on. It's the nature of the life right now. But we get raised up on that day and we'll be able to look around collectively and say, look, we never saw Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We never saw those companions, radiallahu anhum. We never saw them. The companions say, Ya Rasulullah, we heard you say you can't wait to meet your brothers. Aren't we your brothers? He said, no, you're my companions. My brothers are the people who didn't come yet, and they believe in me, which is an idea and a hadith that would suggest there's the people come in a lot of times have some virtues that maybe the companions didn't have. Like the hadith said, my is like the rain. You don't know where the best part of the rain is. Is it in the beginning, radiyallahu anhum, or is it at the end before the rain stops? Now, we didn't see him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we'll be able to say, inshallah, you guys remember that thing for Syria? We did that because we believed. We all fall short of the mark. We miss prayer here and there and making mistakes. We can give more. We have a lot of things we can criticize ourselves. Today is an opportunity, though, for that iman to be manifested. For that iman to be manifested. So if you were a person or are a person, when you come to these places, you come with the idea, I'm only going to give £100, that's good. But because of what those companions had to deal with, and because of the fact we're indebted to them. Everybody sitting here, if you are a Muslim, you're indebted to those companions. One of the reasons why the relationship between the mother and the father towards the child is so great in Islam is they gifted you life and they gifted you the greatest ni'mah. You people were born and raised on Islam. They gave you this deen. If you were like some of the people who reverted to Islam and you had to revert, maybe you wouldn't have never become a Muslim. But your mother and father, you know, your difficult mother or your difficult father, may Allah help us all, they gave you Islam. And the generation before them, all the way to the companions. Who, whatever you spend today, the Prophet said about it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la tasubbu ashabi, fawalladhi nafsu Muhammad biyadihi, law anfaqa ahadukum mithla uhudin dhahaba, ma balaga mudda ahadihim wala nasifa. Don't curse my companions. Don't speak bad about them. Don't mention them in a way that is not appropriate. And I swear by the one who the soul of Muhammad is in his hands, Allah Azza wa Jal, if one of you were to spend the size of Mount Uhud in sadaqah, it wouldn't equal a mud or half of a mud that one of those people gave, because they made the ultimate sacrifice. Our sacrifice today, and for what we have the remainder of our lives, inshallah, pales in comparison. If you spent all of Uhud, it wouldn't equal a mud or half of what Bilal and Ammar and Yasir and Sumayya, what they spent, radiyallahu anhum. So from that angle, my call, my dawah, my encouragement, my kalima to all of you here today is, let's try to get raised up, inshallah, Yawm al-Qiyamah, and we'll be able to look at each other. And this will be one of the discussions on that tremendous, tumultuous day. Hey, we never saw them, but we appreciated it. And just like I demand that from my kids, respect me, appreciate what I've done, appreciate my efforts, appreciate them. I demand that. And you demand it with the same spirit and passion as I do. What about the debt of gratitude we owe to the companions to try to help a little bit more to those people or their descendants? Bilal died in Damascus. Ammar died in Raqqa. These places had been bombed. And those are the children from those illustrious companions. So let that be part of the niyyah. May Allah Azza wa Jal put all of your efforts in your mawazeen of hasanat Yawm al-Qiyamah. And when He puts us in those scales Yawm al-Qiyamah, I hope and pray that this day comes and it'll be one of those issues that'll help us to get over the hump. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.